Hi, welcome back to this exciting part of the tutorial. My name is Chike Okoli, and in this part of the tutorial I'm going to be taking JavaScript numbers. And so without wasting further time, I already created part of the tutorials so that I could save time. And so basically JavaScript numbers can be represented as integers, as floating point numbers, and as hexadecimal numbers. And so if you look at this, and so I simply created these examples, and we'll just go ahead and preview it and see what it looks like. And so just a quick one. And so these are basically integers, numbers without decimal places, floating point numbers and numbers with decimal places, and these are hexadecimal notations, and we can use them to represent numbers. What I just simply did is to output this, and you can also represent numbers in exponential form. And so what this will give us, about 15,000 thereabout. Let's go ahead and look at the preview. And so now having a look at this now, I want to quickly show us something operating on numbers and strings. All right, and so let's see this example I brought out here. Okay, so now we have numbers. We have number x equals to 10 and y equals 20, then z equals to 30. But now this 30 is not just a number, it's a string because it's quoted. If you look at, if you don't understand strings, go to our previous tutorials and do justice to that. You will be up and running with your knowledge, with respect to your knowledge on strings. And so let's look at this now. X plus y, this is 10 plus 20 is going to give us 30. Now, but look at a clear scenario that I want you to take note of. We have z plus z. So it means that it's supposed to give us 30 plus 30, but it's giving us the output will be 30, 30 instead of 60. Now so let's look at the output and see. And so you see the results here instead of the regular number. Why is it so? Because this is a string. So when you have a string, JavaScript automatically treats it as concatenation. In other words, the plus sign is used to concatenate. And so when you have that, now let's look at another example. Let's look at x plus z. And so this is going to be 10, and this is going to be concatenate 30. So what you're going to have is 1030. All right. If you also look at the output, and that's what we're going to have. Why is this so? Because plus sign is used to concatenate in JavaScript. All right, now, but this is going to be a lot different when you are dealing with other arithmetic operators in JavaScript. For example, if I go ahead and do this and do minus sign here, let's go ahead and say minus. Okay, or let's do minus here as well. And so now let's look at the output. So we're looking at this one that was 3030 and 10030. So let's look at what the output will be. So you look at this 3030 will give us 0. Why 10 minus 30? Why? Because minus sign is not treated as concatenation. And so you need to have this in your mind as a rule of thumb when you're dealing with plus sign in arithmetic operation, and it has to do with a quoted string. Even though it's a number like 30, it is JavaScript treats it as a concatenation when you put plus sign. So, but when you're dealing with other arithmetic operators, JavaScript doesn't treat it that way. Now let's look at this scenario now. Let's try and do, let's say this is a total string. Let's say full. And when you try to do an arithmetic operator with this x plus z, it's going to give us a kind of number called none. Okay, so it's treated as a string. Let's try and do let's do y all over z, all over x rather. So you see, it gave us a not a number. This none stands for not a number. All right. So whenever you're dividing dividing a value with a string, it is treated as not a number. And so I like you to bear this in mind when you're dealing with multiplications, when you're dealing with arithmetic operations in JavaScript. And so other thing I want to show us is this. Working on number to precision. And to do that, let's look at this example. But before we go into this, let's look at performing operators on numbers. For example, and what I want to do, the kind of operators I mean is to convert. For example, we have a number and we want to make it a string, or from a string we want to pass a number to an integer. Let's look at that. I already created a few examples. Okay, let's look at this. Now look at this. This is a number. This is a string rather, because it has quotes. And so sometimes we can have a string value and we want to use it to do calculation. You will recall initially when we did addition, JavaScript treated this as concatenation because we're dealing with a string. But there are times we want to go ahead and use this number, and so we need to pass it as a string. For example, I would undo this. So let's look at this now. Let's look at this number. So I'm gonna do this pass int. Okay, just want to quickly show you something. Let's see, pass int z. All right. I'm going to call this one zz. All right. Equals to, by the way, that's my name of my niece. And so now I've passed this z to a string. So if I alert zz, or I'll say type of, let me say type of zz. So we would see the data type. So I'm going to alert it at the same time. And so it's automatically a number. Remember, it was a string, but because we use past int. So if I go ahead and remove this and do the alert, you see it gives us back a string. And so, but because we use the past int value, it converted it to an integer automatically. And so that's one thing you should bear in mind. You can still go ahead and convert a value to pass float. All you need to do is write float here instead. So you already know what a floating number is. Numbers that simply have decimal places. So you can use this. If it's a floating point number, you can use it to pass float. Another example I want to show us, for example, if we have a number like this, let's say 10 pixel. All right, let's say 10 pixels. I'm going to quote it to make it look like a string. And so I'm going to pass it as x. I'm going to bring this x here because I want to just show something with that. And so I'll give this xx. So let's alert type of xx. Okay. So he said it's undefined. He said it's undefined. Pass float. it's supposed to return. Okay, so ZZ is in here, so I will still alert in the old value. So you see, it's a number because floating point is a kind of number, and so you can use that. Another example another thing I want to show us quickly is converting a number to a string. And to do that, I already created to convert numbers to strings. To create that, okay, I don't think I wrote something, and so I'll just go ahead and show us that. And so, for example, I will come over to what I've been doing. For example, if I have this number 20y, that's y, and so I'm gonna say y converted. I'm gonna say equals to x dot string. And so once you do this, x dot to string, so once you do this, it automatically converts the value you have to a string. And so if I go ahead and do the same thing for this, okay, and say alert type of this, what's going on? Okay, to string. Okay, I'm gonna do y. Just a moment. Let me know why. Okay, so our spelling of string is incorrect, and so that didn't work. And so I converted a number. This is y is a number, so I converted it to string. And so you can go back and forth. You can also do converting to number to exponential. Okay, so these are other examples of converting numbers to strings, and so you can try that on your own. And so you can also do the same thing for converting to exponential. You can do the same for converting to exponential. So we have a number, you can convert this to exponential value. If you go ahead and run the output for this is what you're going to get. So lastly, I want to show us something very important, and so I'm going to go ahead and get this open. And so we have a number. So I'm trying to explain something called to precision. And so we have a number x equals 6.235, and we want to round it to few decimal places, right? We want to round them to few decimal places, and to do that you use the to precision method to do that. And so once we do that, it's going to give us this. But when we put a number, and so it's going to start counting like 0. It's going to start counting like 0, 1, 2, 3. You get that? And so when it gets to this point, it's going to round up to the nearest decimal places. And so you see this was 5 and you rounded it up. And so let's look at, if we do that to 2, we're going to say 0, 1, 2. And so this is 3, it's not up to 5, so it's not going to round it up. And so, but if this is 4, if this is 5 for instance, it's going to give us 6.3. And so you can go ahead and try that on your own. Another thing that works exactly like this is to fixed. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to fixed, and let's see what it gave us, what it will give us to fixed. Let's go ahead and do to fixed and preview them. So it's almost the same thing with to precision. So I'm going to, and so it gave us also decimal places. Let's go ahead and look at the code side by side and see. And so we had 6.255, and to fix rather, it gave us the first one, it gave us 6 automatically. And so this one to 3 decimal places, and so let's see this one to 2 decimal places give us, and so let's see this one to 1 decimal place give us 6.3. Remember, we're not working with this again, right? So this is the output it gave us. So just go ahead and try that, and so far we've been able to show you types of numbers and how to work with numbers, that appear to be a string, and how to convert number from a string to an integer, and from an integer to a string, even to exponential. And now we've shown you how to actually also do certain operations like precision and fixed, and we did a couple of things. And in the next tutorial I'm going to be diving strictly into the if statement in JavaScript. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.